I think Andy Warhol said everybody should be famous for 15 minutes. I think everybody should experience an Old Firm game. There's nothing like it.
Celtic Park, home of the greatest football club in Scotland. And if you're from the green side of Glasgow, the next hour will leave you in heaven. Coming up, moments and memories to treasure as we relive some of the boys' greatest ever Old Firm victories. Start, a championship decider from 1981. Celtic were top of the league, beat Rangers, and it was all but over. A roll call of Celtic legends included a teenage striker making his first start in an Old Firm game. His name was Charlie Nicholas.
It's so important, that particular game, and it's that time of the season. It's always good, and the season's running to a close and games are starting to disappear. You start to count the number of games that are left. And if you can string a result with the Old Firm in that situation, it's brilliant.
That's a good ball towards Derek Johnston. Rangers take the lead. The 12th win of the match. That was the move that John Gregg was hoping for. The slanted, in-swinging cross towards the near post from Davy Cooper. Johnston made the run, found some space, and the glancing header enough to leave Pat Bonner totally stranded. Burns forward towards McGarvey, teeing it up for Sullivan. McGarvey again. And once again, the goalkeeping of McCloy to the rescue of Rangers. Again, it was all about positioning as McGarvey and Sullivan worked the ball into a shooting position. McCloy there to catch the final effort. Shot to Burns. Back now to Conroy. The lofted ball forward. There's a collision between McAdam and Jordan. The shot from Tom McAdam. And once again, McCloy on the edge of his 6-yard box. Bent breaking from midfield. Beaten by Tom McAdam. Now Mark Reid. Nicholas back to Burns. Again it's Nicholas. A little flick into space for Burns. Great position for Tommy Burns. And that one just going over the crossbar and wide of the post. A great piece of play. Burns and Nicholas working the 1-2. Look at the little flick from Nicholas back into the path of Burns. That positive direct run forward. He might have tried to pull it back, but he had to go with getting it into the near post. So let off for Rangers.
Came in at half-time 1-0 down, and normally in an Old Firm match, Billy McNeill would have been reading the riot act. You're a goal down in an Old Firm game at home. And I always remember that game coming into the dressing room. And Billy sat us down and he was remarkably calm and he said, look, we're going to win this game. All you have to do is keep playing, keep passing the ball, keep the pace of the game up, keep putting them under pressure, and you'll win.
The ball seeking out Davy Provan. He's got past Dawson. Well, that was a marvellous chance for Frank McGarvey. He can't believe it. That long sweeping ball from Tommy Burns, pulling the Rangers defence wide. Provan got past Ali Dawson for perhaps the first time in the match, and the driven cross really should have been turned in by Frank McGarvey. There's Burns. Nicholas showing himself short. Chance for Provan. The shot by Conroy. Put away by Jordan. Well, it's mayhem in that Rangers goal mouth. But eventually, after Provan had worked his way clear, the shot came in from Conroy. It wasn't held by McCloy. McGarvey forced it past him, and there was Jordan to knock the ball clear. Tom McAdam breaks now to Sullivan. Redford getting back. Provan. Sullivan. Charlie Nicholas gets his first goal against Rangers. Look at the delight in his face. Gets his 23rd goal of the season and the Celtic fans go wild. A goal made by that forcing run from Sullivan. He got the ball wide to Provan. The driven cut back, controlled by Sullivan, that broke to Nicholas. And there's the finishing which makes this youngster such hot property. Provan's headed on, that's Nicholas towards McGarvey. Miller there up, here's Nicholas. 2-1 to Celtic. Charlie Nicholas puts Celtic ahead. With 17 minutes left to play. The long ball from deep. Colin Jackson misjudged the bounce. Provan played it on. Then it was between Nicholas and McGarvey to create the space. And eventually Nicholas gets the chance for that right foot shot. And he's very much a Celtic hero. Provan finding space to Dick Burns' pass. That's McGreen racing past him. And that was Frank McGarvey given another great chance to tie the game up for Celtic. Sweeping move again. Out to the far side to Provan. McGreen in the supporting run. Look at the pace at this stage in the game. The cutback straight to McGarvey. The final shot wide. Nicholas into space. Roy Aitken is there with Jordan. Aitken has won it. He has McGarvey in the box. And Roy Aitken does it all by himself. Well, that surely clinches the match for Celtic with just 3 minutes left. Roy Aitken showing his tremendous strength and pace and fitness coming from the back. Outstripping Jordan for that clearance from Nicholas. Taking it forward, trying to find McGarvey with a square ball. It's come back off Colin Jackson, and look at the finish from Aitken. Well, Billy McNeil still looks concerned, although he really ought not to be. Final minute, 3-1 lead. Well, you can see the joy beginning to come to the surface. Referee Kenny Holt brings a marvellous match to an end, won by that stunning second half performance from Celtic. Coming back from the goal down, Charlie Nicholas, the 2-goal hero.
The young Nicholas was marvellous. He was exciting, he was talented, he was confident, he was cocky, but he was really assured of his own ability, and I think he really loved the stage. He loved that type of thing. He loved the big occasion, and that game suited him to a T.
And Charlie was obviously the young guy coming in there and getting all the headlines and everything. I think that was his first Old Firm game, which actually started. And Charlie being Charlie at that time, everything just turned to gold for him. And that was a good performance that day. We played very well that day.
That it was arguably the best Celtic performance I remember in an Old Firm match. Rangers, I think, scored after 10-11 minutes. Derek Johnson got on the end of a Davy Cooper in-swinging free kick. Rangers were ahead, and after that we swarmed all over them.
The 37th League Cup final saw Celtic trying to lay a bogey to rest. They had won 3 consecutive championships but hadn't won the League Cup for 8 years, and no one could be sure that the League Cup jinx wouldn't strike again.
The League Cup was always a difficult competition for Celtic. I don't know why we could perform well in the league, we could perform well in the Scottish Cup, but for some reason we always, or often, or perhaps always, found the League Cup much more difficult. So this one was particularly important to us.
I think the team was conscious that Celtic had a terrible record in the tournament. it was said at the time there was some kind of jinx on us in the League Cup. So there's always that feeling in the back of your mind that things might go against you again. But we had a good side. We had a good side, a lot of good players in that team.
Difficult curling ball, and that is just over. Well, certainly the Rangers defence beaten by the jumping skill of McAdam, and this has got to be very valuable for Celtic. Robin, a good position for Celtic, and that's a goal. Nicholas has done it. 1-0 for Celtic, 23 minutes gone. And that is how sharp the Celtic attack can be. To the delight of the rain-sodden Celtic supporters, Celtic have gone into the lead in a move that always seemed to me would come from the right, penetrating the Rangers' defence as they backtrack, and Nicholas, out of nothing almost, showing how deadly he can finish. Well, there's a kind of green curtain over Hampden now, and I'm not sure if the Rangers supporters can see through that fog. Well, I think that's the smoke of triumph. Somebody has one of these flares in there with colours. There's also one down at the Rangers' end. Robin to take it. Second chance. McClellan down, and that's in. Mother McLeod, number 2. Brilliantly struck by McLeod. 31 minutes gone. Celtic 2 up. And even though they may be suffering imminent pneumonia on the terracings there, the dancing and the singing for an emphatic Celtic goal. So cleanly struck by McLeod. Down it went to him. And the sheer efficiency of that was well beyond the reach of Jim Stewart. And Rangers are really up against it so early in the game. Fact of the matter is that Celtic have controlled the match. Gordon Smith brought down, free kick. Brought down by McAdam. Back goes the Celtic defensive wall. It stay right in the middle. Probin doing the judging of it. Referee still not satisfied with the distance away. They're taking it, and he scored! Brilliantly taken. 2-1. Completely deceiving the Celtic defence. And in 1 minute, Rangers have answered the questions I posed myself. They have the spirit, and they are fighting back, and they could not have done it with more finesse. And that beautifully placed free kick by Ben, plonked right in the back of the net. Robin. Brilliant control. What a match he's having. Can he cut it back? He does, and that's almost in. Brilliantly turned away by McKinnon. That must go down as one of the best saves by an outfield player this season. The second sticks away. Kenny Holt looks down at his watch, checking the time that this is taking. And there goes the final whistle. Celtic have won the League Cup, and deservedly so on the basis of their first half performance, where they outreached and outstripped Rangers in the quality of the play. Danny McGrain, the only man previously to have had the cup in his hand for Celtic and the medal. All the other players will be getting their medals for the first time.
The ball broke to myself wide right. I moved inside, tried to commit a couple of defenders, and got the usual demand from young Nicholas, give me it. Knocked it sideways to him, and he didn't need any time. I'm not exaggerating. I would say that at that time he would be as good as any player of his age throughout Europe. I was voted man of the match after the game, and given the dismal conditions at Hampden that day, I think it was fitting that the man of the match award was a trip to Florida. So I was the envy of the rest of the team in the bath after the game. Charlie Nicholas reckoned that he should have got it, but I was delighted to accept it.
Davy tended to reserve an awful lot of his better games playing against Rangers, and in that one he really dished up a fabulous performance. When he was in song, as he was that day, then he was a joy to behold, and that was one of his spectacular games.
May 1983, and a game that would be Billy McNeil's last Old Firm encounter for 4 years. But before the legendary Billy Mack headed south, there was the Scottish Championship to consider, as his side went to Ibrox for a game they had to win.
That particular season we had lost another significant lead in the Championship. Dundee United were the side in the driving seat. They were playing their derby match against Dundee at Dens Park on the last day. We were playing Rangers at Ibrox, well aware that we had to win and hoped that United might slip up.
Almost 30 yards out. That corner on his line. Cooper thumps it in as a flick, and it's a goal. Came off Clark. Right, just a bit of deflection. Cooper will claim the credit. 16 minutes gone. Tremendous ball by David Cooper, left foot. It might just have been a slight touch from Sandy Clark. Cooper in the way by Aiken. Knocked down, chance for McKinnon. And it was deflected. It's a goal. McKinnon's shot deflected by Clark. 2-0, 23 minutes. There didn't look a great deal of danger there. Cooper who got the first one, who set up the first one, sets up the second as well. Ball knocked out, knocked back in instantly there. McKinnon's shot deflected, corner going the wrong way. Sandy Clark leaps in the air with delight.
I wasn't really angry at half time. I felt disappointed for the players because they had gone out and they had played well in the first half.
Normally in that situation, 2-0 down in an Old Firm game, Billy would be trying to get the tactical message across where we were going wrong. He would certainly be booting a few backsides. And halfway through his talk, we became aware that the Celtic supporters were in full voice outside. We could hear them singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." And I remember Billy saying, just stopping his team talk and saying, listen to these people outside. They haven't given up. And neither should you. You're 2-0 down, but you have to give these people something.
The Celtic support, who to a man had raised the flags, and it was a fantastic rendition of "You'll Never Walk Alone." And I think the fact that Rangers took their time coming out possibly went against them, because we stood for 2 or 3 minutes just watching it, and you could see the guys just rising up. And as soon as the game started, that second 45 minutes was unbelievable.
Bobbin through to the edge of the box, but stay back to Bobbin. A brilliant move. Referee indicating a penalty, I think, for that challenge. Dawson doesn't like it. Mr. McGinley is adamant it's a penalty kick. Provan making ground, forcing his way through, chips it sideways. The flick forward by McStay. Provan trying to collect a return pass, brought down. Penalty kick, says Mr. McGinley. Peter McCloy facing Charlie Nicholas. 2-1. Beautifully struck away by Nicholas. There's Nicholas. One-footing McCloy. The corner of the net. Perfectly struck kick. Aiken and McKinnon at the post. Provan with a floater, inviting a back header. It's in! McAdam scores. Provan, Aiken, McAdam, goal, 2-2. There's the move, the near post corner from Provan, floated in. Aiken up, wins it well. McAdam moves in the killer position between the goalkeeper and the defender. It's in the net and it's 2-2. So it's more than 17 minutes to play. 2-2. Provan. McGarvey. Goal! Superb free kick. Magnificent header. Celtic down 2-0 at one point. Lead 3-2. There's Provan's free kick. McGarvey straight through, buying into the back of the net. A superb goal. Rangers 2, Celtic 3. Frank McGarvey the scorer. 28 minutes gone in the second half. 5 minutes left. Dawson trying a pass back, picked up by McLeod. Brought down by Dawson. Penalty kick. Well, Ali Dawson put himself under pressure there by miscuing. McLeod was going through. Dawson made the return challenge. Referee McGinley 6 yards away indicates penalty number 2 for Celtic. So looking for Ali Dawson. 4 minutes from time here in this dramatic match at Ibrox. Charlie Nicholas has already scored from the spot. His first kick went to McCoy's right. Where will his second one go? Same place. McCoy nearly got it. Nicholas's second penalty of the match. Celtic's fourth goal in this quite extraordinary contest. He again decided to pick the same corner. McCoy guessed that he would do it. Threw himself to his right. Touched the ball. Couldn't hold it. Into the back of the net. Only just. Rangers 2, Celtic 4.
The news eventually came through that United had held on at Tannadice to win 2-1. And there's no easy way to lose a championship. We felt at least we had lost it with some pride and some dignity, and we had given the supporters something to shout about on the last day.
Celtic's centenary season saw Billy McNeill return to the helm after 4 years in England. Against Graham Souness's Rangers, the game had an unlikely hero, 30-year-old midfielder Billy Stark, whose career had been reborn after a surprise move from Aberdeen to Celtic.
I say there's a fairy tale touch about the club at times, and maybe we should have considered it inevitable that in the centenary year things would happen. It gave the players belief that they could achieve something, and went on to win the league that year. And I think that game was very important and very instrumental in assisting us to do that.
Well, it's a bad ball by Nicholl. Only putting pressure on his own defence. There's a nice dummy. Billy Stark has scored. 1-0. Beautifully taken by Stark. Delirious Celtic supporters. Almost 4.5 minutes, I take it. Original mistake by Jimmy Nicholl. And look at this ball. Beautiful little dummy there. And there was Billy Stark. That was not an easy chance. There's Durant right into the path of a Celtic player again. Durant, who's had a very good start to the season, is right out of touch in this match. There's Walker. And a jump pass. Brilliant piece of play. Mark McGee from Walker. Tantalising ball there. Walker did very well indeed, and look how close McGee gets. Here's Durant. Now Souness. There's a lovely shot that it just passed. Beautiful move by Rangers. That is certainly after 27 minutes the first concerted move they've had in the match. And Ali McCoist very unlucky there. Now Durant. Beautiful play by Durant. Through it goes to McCoist. And he's done it! No. Offside. Well, looked as if he'd got the equaliser. Beautiful move. Superb play by Durant. Lovely little flick, but there he was in that offside position before he picked it up. All very fast and furious. Billy Stark. Oh, and there's Roy Aitken incensed by that. Billy Stark had his boot off, and that will be Souness off. He's already been booked, and Rangers are down to 10 men. The Rangers players manager sent off yet again. And the Rangers players arguing. There's Buns. Ferguson's up. Clutter of players. McStay looking for that little chip, and that's off the bar, and tremendous pressure as McCall tried to concede the corner kick. The youngster really up against it there. He decided that the only way he could defend this was put it over his own crossbar, and Walker in sharp as ever just underneath it. Twice. Now Ferguson. Here's Durant. Here's Ferguson. No, too much again. Holding on to the ball far too often. Celtic on the counter-attack, and Buns looking dangerous. Rogan on the left. Here's Buns going through, and he can't get around. A great effort by Tommy Buns. Anguished expression there. And there goes the final whistle. No stoppage time added on. And the Celtic supporters absolutely jubilant. One goal in it. Billy Stark's goal in 4.5 minutes.
Granny stepped over it, and I was coming in the far side of the penalty box, and I fell on my left foot, which was certainly my weaker foot, but in some ways I think it helped, because I just concentrated and trying to get a good strike on it, and it, fortunately for me, went into the far away corner of the net. Memorable game in other respects, because Graham Souness was sent off in the second half, and it was actually a tackle on me that he was sent off for. My boot had come off in a previous tackle. Graham came to win the ball. I managed to just play it away, and he mistimed it slightly, and put me up in the air, and he was duly sent off for that.
Starkey being Starkey just drifted in there and produced the winner, and that gave us a great start to the season. Psychologically with the first points over Rangers, and obviously that went on to be a very memorable season for everyone.
The 1989 Cup final saw Rangers on the verge of completing the treble. Graham Souness' team was dominated by English imports.
Been a difficult season. Rangers had strengthened. They strengthened the squad quite dramatically. Won the League Cup, won the league, and all of a sudden there was a Celtic and Rangers final. Not only did it have the tensions of the normal Rangers Celtic game, the apprehensions of it being a cup final, but it had the overtones of the only team in the country that could stop Rangers from doing a treble was Celtic.
The onus was on us to try and win something for our fans and for the players, and at that particular time, during that period, we probably nearly went every season and won something, so the pressure was on to do that particular year.
Aiken playing on the right side of midfield. Peter Grant in the middle marking Ian Ferguson of Rangers. There's Joe Miller running into Butcher. There's Paul McStay. Back it goes to Grant. Well, he kept the shot down well, Peter Grant. Still to find the net this season. This isn't a bad effort, taking the pass from Paul McStay, and the shot goes wide. McCarthy. Aiken again. Under pressure from Brown. Aiken's header. Here's Joe Miller. He's away from Butcher. Miller's shot off target, but quite clearly now Celtic are trying to use the pace on the ground of Joe Miller against Terry Butcher. Mick McCarthy goes up. Anton Rogan is also going into the box. Far flung corner. There's Roy Aiken. A good chance now for Celtic. The ricochet falls kindly, and ball goes behind from Butcher. Mark McGee looking hopefully for a handball decision. The ball ricocheted about the 6-yard box. Wow, real danger for Rangers here, and Aiken did well driving it across. McCoist across to Brown. Trying to take on Aiken. The Celtic captain wins it but concedes the throw. Well, no, indeed it's a Celtic throw taken quickly. Here's Peter Grant. That's intended for Joe Miller. A great interception by Goff. Stevens in trouble. There's Joe Miller. 4 minutes from half time. The celebrations begin on the Celtic bench. A dreadful error by Gary Stevens, and Joe Miller puts Celtic ahead. No problem there, it would appear, for Gary Stevens, and Miller wasted no time filling that behind Chris Woods. Well, Gary Stevens will have to overcome that. What a terrible error to make in defence in a cup final. There's the scoreline now. Joe Miller's goal putting Celtic ahead. But here's Mark Walters. It's off the line by White. A miraculous stop on the line. Rangers hitting back instantly, and suddenly the cup final has come to life. The shot goes beyond Bonner. We fully expected that to go in, and Derek White appeared for the clearance. Here's Joe Miller with Aiken. That's for Miller again. No offside flag. Back it goes to Aiken. The far post it goes. There goes Buns. Off the line by Stevens. Well, Gary Stevens redeeming himself after the error which gave Celtic the lead. A great ball list from Roy Aiken. Tommy Buns popping up at the far post, beating Woods, but Stevens was there. There's Gary Stevens, who won a cup medal for Everton in 1984. Ian Ferguson who won one for St Mirren 2 years ago. Here's Walters. Good flowing move this from Rangers. Fine cross and excellent goalkeeping by Bonner. Well, Pat Bonner celebrates his 29th birthday next week, and his experience called upon here with an excellent decision and a good piece of handling. Well, the clock to the enemy now for Rangers as they throw everything forward in an attempt to level the match. There's Gary Stevens. That came off Tommy Buns. Drinkle's header. Agonisingly across the face of the goal and turned away brilliantly there by White. Too long for Bonner. Drinkle did well. A looping header back over Pat Bonner. Oh, look how well Derek White does here, escorting the ball to safety. McCarthy coming for it. There's Butcher. Now McCoist. There was no offside flag. That was Rangers' best chance of the match. Ball going high from McCarthy. Butcher wins this superbly. It goes straight through to Ali McCoist, normally so deadly, and he slices the ball over the bar. Here's John Brown. Butcher up for the attack again. Anton Rogan's headed out. Here's Gary Stevens preparing to launch the long throw into the box, looking for Butcher and Goff. There's Butcher. It will not come. It was a foul on Pat Bonner as the ball was in the air. He was taken out of the play. This will be clear, I'm sure, from the replay. Just watch Pat Bonner here for this. There's Davy Cooper backing into him, and that's why the goal has been chopped off. Here's Joe Miller, the Mr. Superfit of the Cup final. And just with that, he shows how tired he's become, tripping over the ball. And there goes the final whistle. Celtic have won the cup. Billy McNeil hugs Benny Rooney in delight. The treble hopes of Celtic, of Rangers are dashed. Celtic have won the cup for the second year in a row. Oh, here's the smiling thing and everything. What a contrast now as Roy Aitken goes up to collect the Scottish Cup.
The ball had been thrown into the penalty box and Packy came out and Terry Butcher had given them a wee nudge and Rangers scored, but took the referee just a fraction of a second to blow the whistle. And obviously if they had scored then with that couple of minutes to go, then the real momentum would have changed and they would have been putting us under a lot of pressure.
Oh, definitely a foul, yeah. I think Terry Butcher came up and put me flying. Definitely a foul, there's no question about that.
But it wasn't one of the better games. It was. I think it was probably an occasion when the result was more important than the means.
St Patrick's Day in 1991 brought a crucial cup quarter-final. The Rangers lineup was still dominated by Englishmen, but Celtic had a couple of imports of their own. English defender Paul Elliott, who would finish the season as Scotland's Player of the Year, and Polish international Dariusz Dolček.
I think the fact that it was St Patrick's Day meant an awful lot to the fans. So maybe St Patrick was watching just a little bit that day and decided to give us a hand.
Coyne got a touch, there's Craney! Celtic are ahead! It's Jerry Craney in the 6th minute of the match. It's the perfect start for Celtic. Craney gets his 10th goal of the season, but he owes this to Tommy Coyne, who got that good head flick, allowing Craney to get there ahead of Nisbet and leave Woods without an earthly.
Absolutely brilliant goal by Craney. A brilliant leap by Tommy Coyne under pressure from Richard Gough, but Craney's made a run just off shot there and fired an unstoppable volley into the bottom corner.
That's well struck and deflected! 2-0 to Celtic! Dariusz Dolček takes the credit with the help of a deflection. It's been to come off Terry Hurlock. Bedlam here at Celtic Park. 37 minutes of the first half gone. 2-0 to Celtic. And here's the effort from Dariusz Dolček, thundering the ball forward. That appeared to come off Terry Hurlock, and once again Chris Woods had no chance of stopping that.
It was a thumping strike by Dolček. I think Chris Woods probably had it covered, and the deflection, just a wicked deflection, just took it out of the reach of Chris Woods.
Tommy Craig out of the dugout with some instructions from the Celtic players. Keithley is onside. That's for Hallstra, great chance here for Rangers. Well, he appeared to touch the ball with his right foot before he let fly with the left. That's what made the shot look so bad. Now Ian Ferguson lining up this free kick. He has tremendous power in his right boot. Charged down by Grant, and Grant is now in very serious trouble. He's being ordered off. Peter Grant is ordered off for charging the free kick too early. Paul McStay protesting vehemently to the referee, but it's Peter Grant who will take no further part in the match. The second ordering off of the season. He was ordered off against Hibs on the 5th of January. We'll see how this happened. It came from the free kick which Ian Ferguson went to take. There's Grant number 4 on the edge of the wall. He's already off his mark, and there is the breach of the rules which has resulted in the early departure for Grant. Elliott will not be denied in the air for Celtic. And there's a backlash by Hurlock. Hurlock's in trouble. He's clearly going to be ordered off. There can be no other outcome. He lashed out there after the ball had gone. And Terry Hurlock looking there. It's the right hand pocket. It's a red card for Terry Hurlock. The victim was Tommy Coyne. An act of complete folly by Hurlock, right in front of the referee's eyes. And Terry Hurlock makes the long, lonely walk to the dressing room, going past the Rangers dugout there. Walter Smith gazing out without making any reference to Hurlock. So here was Hurlock. The challenge came in from Coyne. Hurlock didn't appreciate it, and then you'll see him lashing out there with the right arm. That's why he was ordered off, and really, I think the referee had no option at all. Celtic the advantage rule, but after the ball had gone, Walters clashed again with Tommy Coyne, and he too has been ordered off. And there's more trouble over on the far side. Now what's going on here? The linesman is involved. Anton Rogan clutching his face. Mark Hateley was in the vicinity, and the linesman George Kerr is now explaining to referee Waddle what happened. Now Mark Hateley has already been booked. Richard Gough is across, so is Paul Elliott. Rogan is going to be booked for his part, but it looks as though Mark Hateley is going to be ordered off. If he's called across at all, and if he's involved, he can only be shown one colour of card. He's been called back by Andrew Waddle, so it's a booking. Is it, or is it a red card for both? A yellow it is for Rogan, and it's a red for Hateley. The long walk for Mark Hateley. He lost his head without question as the game wore on, and the inevitable result is an early bar for the England international. It has been by no means a classic football occasion, although Celtic went about the task in the first half extremely well with a committed, fast approach, which won the game in the end. There's the final whistle. Celtic are the winners by 2-0. Jerry Crady in 6 minutes. Darius Dubček in 37.
It is a point. I mean, maybe it's wrong and maybe it's gamesmanship, but when you've had a player ordered off, and then one of your opponent's players get ordered off, and then another one, and then laterally another one, it does take the pressure off, and it does take the tension out of the situation for you.
And so to recent history, and an end to nearly a decade of pain after Rangers had won 9 championships in a row. Victory in this match would move the Hoops to within 1 point of Rangers at the top, and to within striking distance of their first league title since 1988.
To be frank with you, I don't think it's possible for Celtic to win the league without showing that they can beat Rangers.
At that stage of the season, you know, to go 7 points behind them would have been really, really hard to pull back. Virtually impossible, to be honest.
We had to stop them. Our supporters were desperate for that, and we were desperate to do well, so that was important.
We hadn't won a New Year's fixture for 10 years, which everybody knows is very important. It goes a long way. They say historically if you win that game then you win the championship.
Well, it's the third Old Firm fixture of this season. The previous two staged in a 12-day spell in November. Richard Gough's goal gave Rangers the points at Ibrox. Marco Negri thought he'd done the same here at Celtic Park, only for Alan Stubbs to equalise in the closing seconds. So an improvement for Celtic from the first game, and now they're looking for a further improvement from that draw. Well, it's a swan song in some respects for Walter Smith, his last league match here as manager of Rangers. Lardwick. Got to be careful with their challenges. It might not matter because Negri couldn't get the ball down. The challenge on Brian Lardwick producing extreme reactions in both sets of fans. It's Gattuso from Negri's pass. It's another real buccaneering burst from the youngster. Blocked by Weghorst, who takes over from Brattbach. And here goes Weghorst, Brattbach making a run to the left in behind McCall. Larson in the centre, and Brattbach in a bit of a hurry to get it across, and it was pretty comfortable for Andy Gorham. Stops. Brattbach, the flag was up. Weghorst. Boyd on the left. Brattbach joined by Burley in the centres. Boyd goes on. And though it's brought away by Gorham to Craig Burley, in fact, but he couldn't adjust himself to have any power to knock the ball back goalwards. Here comes Celtic. With Boyd. Oh, Brattbach, he can take this as a chance! Great stop by Gorham, the breaker of Celtic hearts so often. And it was the first open chance of the game. And Andy Gorham stopped Harold Brattbach from taking it. It's a strong spell this from Celtic. Weghorst, Henrik Larsson. And Burley! Celtic claiming and getting the corner. Brattbach. Rangers back off. Brattbach going on! It's Boyd. It's Larsson. It's appeals from Celtic. There's Lambert again for McNamara. Rangers, you feel, are here for the taking. It's Craig Burley! Well, it's been on the cards, and Burley has broken through for Celtic. Ferguson. Jury trying for something he's not going to get. Stubbs, who's played with great authority. And the Frico's turned his back on it, whether he thought he was offside and had to get out of the way. Oh, great stop from Gorham by the effort from Jackson. Now Larson. The second one will surely settle it for Celtic. That's Lambert! Oh, what a way to settle it! Paul Lambert! No chance for Gorham, no chance now for Rangers today. Celtic, a league win at last over Rangers after 10 unsuccessful attempts. After a 10-year gap, they've finally won a New Year Old Firm fixture, and they've shown their capability to make 10 titles in a row. Far from a formality for the champions.
Once again, looking for George Adams.
Craig Burley, the man of the match, struck the vital first one. And then Paul Lambert, recently brought back to Scotland from Germany's Bundesliga, where he got a real taste of the big time, and he shares the joy with the Celtic fans who are in raptures. Celtic leapfrog, Hearts on goal difference. They are both a point behind Rangers. Celtic thoroughly deserve to win the day.
It's one of the best feelings I've had after 90 minutes, you know, that we had done such a good job at that point and really pulled ourselves back in the league race.
And that was the Magnificent Seven from the Celtic archives. But don't switch off just yet, because we couldn't leave without offering up some bonus action, and one of the latest and greatest Old Firm days the boys have ever enjoyed. Going into the game, it had been a shaky start for our defending champions. Rangers were top, and new boss Dr. Joseph Venglos needed his team to deliver something special.
Albert's flick, Guimaraes, quick strength there from Yalby, and Henrik Larsson away from Colin Hendry. Phil O'Donnell was sprinting through the middle. That's well won by Kanchelskis. Now Ferguson, that's for Rod Wallace. Rod Wallace has got a half yard on Alan Stubbs, taking a tumble. An optimistic look towards Willie Young. No penalty. And coolly played out by Stubbs to O'Donnell. It's a good one by Simon Donnelly. In for Henrik Larsson. And Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! 12 minutes gone! And Joseph Venglos, his fellow Slovakian, leads the applause. A superb finish. And Celtic's decision to push Moravcik up front pays dividends. The left foot shot was perfectly timed and perfectly placed and curled away from Niemi. He threw himself towards it, but he had no chance of keeping this out. A quick break. away from Larson with the dummy, and the clinical finish from Moravcik, and that was the reaction on the Celtic bench. 1-0. Now Lambert. Good touch from Moravcik, and that's a rash challenge by Scott Wilson. That's a yellow card. It's a red card. Scott Wilson is sent off. Here's Moravcik on the half volley. Henrik Larsson was close. Nodded over the crossbar by Arthur Newman. A high quality ball played in there by Moravcik. He's having a superb match on the half volley. Well, that one is really dangerous for Rangers. Lambert for Boyd. The cross was too long. Chased by Moravcik. That's good skill. The pass for O'Donnell. Here's Mahe. Now Lambert. Well, Paul Lambert has already got an Old Firm cracker stashed away in his collection from last season. This very reminiscent. And it wasn't too far away. He struck it very well. And it just soared over the crossbar. Henrik Larsson. So O'Donnell can leave it to Luba Moravcik. O'Donnell again, early ball in, Larsson! What a chance that was for number 2 for Celtic. With 2.5 minutes of the first half left. What a good run and good ball in from Phil O'Donnell. Played on the run, and Henrik Larsson knows that he might well have made it 12 for the season here. Donnelly to Boyd. Simon Donnelly goes again looking for the ball back. In for resets. Cleared by Perini. Well won by Alan Stubbs. Tom Boyd is onside. Number 2 for Moravcik. 4 minutes of the second half gone. This Old Firm match is turning into an unbelievable dream for Luba Moravcik. Picked out by Boyd, and how good was that header? Antiniemi was rooted to the spot because it was so far away from him, into the corner. Tom Boyd picked out by that superb pass by Alan Stubbs, pulled it back, and no marking on Moravcik. Celtic 2 up, and yet again Joe Venglos is out of the dugout, leading the songs of praise for Luba Moravcik. Well, a huge wall of sound now around Celtic Park. Loving every minute of the second Old Firm match of the season. Again Moravcik proving a hot handful. Here's Phil O'Donnell and Larsson. Henrik Larsson annoyed with himself there. This was a good chance to make it number 3, set up by O'Donnell, steered the shot, but steered it wide. Definitely not off target was Luba Moravcik's effort earlier on. Here's another angle of it. Look at this superb header from the penalty spot. Pass from Donnelly for Henrik Larsson. It's number 3 this time. And Celtic Park is bouncing. 7 minutes into the second half, and a 3-goal lead for Celtic. Rangers are stunned. Henrik Larsson scores his 12th goal of the season. The deftest of flicks, putting the ball beyond Antiniemi. The angle pass from Simon Donnelly. Larsson had the pace to get away from Henry, and he had the composure to finish in some style. 6 goals now for Larsson in his last 4 games. He's hot, and Celtic are hot. 3 up in the Old Firm match. Bronkhorst thought about the shot, and Rangers have a chance from the set piece. Stefan Givas thought about it and then left it. So it's George Albert stepping up, and Van Bronckhorst! A superb strike from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst pulls a goal back for Rangers. It's a long way back for his team. 3-1 down, and it's 10 men against 11. Again, Tom Boyd taking a healthy run up at that. Away from Newman. Tom Boyd has time. Underneath it, Andrei Kanchelskis. Didn't get it clear though. In from Philadono and Henrik Larsson. 2 for Larsson, 2 for Moravcik, 4 for Celtic. 11 minutes now into the second half. An absolutely incredible Old Firm match. 1 goal in the first half already, another 4 inside 11 minutes of the second half. Philadono's cross, Henrik Larsson not picked up, and the header was down and away from Niemi, and it's 4-1. Celtic have a new hero, Lubo Moravcik, 2 goals in his first experience of the Old Firm match, and just listen to that reception. Off he goes, and on in his place comes 18-year-old Mark Burchill. Well cut out by Lambert. There's some room here for Henrik Larsson. Tom Boyd is getting up in support of him. Burchill is there as well. Here's Mark Burchill. That's number 5. A fairy tale for Mark Burchill. His first taste of the Old Firm match, and his first goal. It's 5-1. Right on 90 minutes. Henrik Larsson carved open the Rangers defence, released the pass at just the right time, inside Borini. And what a good finish that was for a teenager. 1 for Burchill, 2 for Larsson, 2 for Moravcik, and it's 5-1 for Celtic.
I know myself the amount of pressure people are under when they go into Old Firm games, and it's a hell of a lot more pressure than playing in the English Premier League. Until you've sampled that, you don't realise, and I think that's why it's all the more satisfying when you get a result. It's just the sheer relief, so it's very, very important, and all the players know that.